Imagine a country where vast cities stand side by side with untouched wilderness, where you can see skyscrapers in the morning and just an hour later find yourself surrounded by endless forests and crystal-clear lakes. This is Canada. At first glance, it seems almost perfect, peaceful, clean, and safe. There is none of the constant rush that defines so many other countries. People are not in a hurry. They live at their own pace, calm, steady, and balanced. But if you stay a little longer, it becomes clear. Behind this calm surface lies a far more complex reality. Canada is not only comfort and stability, it is also a challenge of climate, a challenge of loneliness, a challenge of the system. And not everyone goes through it easily. Canada is the second largest country in the world by land area. Its territory is so vast that it is difficult to fully comprehend. It has everything: mountains, plains, glaciers, dense forests, thousands of rivers, and millions of lakes. Yet, despite this, most of the country remains almost completely uninhabited. Why? The answer lies in the climate. The northern regions of Canada belong to the Arctic zone. Winters here are long and harsh, summers are short, and living conditions are extreme. Temperatures can drop so low that machinery stops working and your breath turns instantly into visible frost. That is why the majority of the population lives in the south, closer to the border with the United States. It is a narrow strip of land where nearly all of the country's life is concentrated.
Canada is known for its cities. There is no sense of chaos here. Even in large metropolitan areas, order and cleanliness are preserved. The streets are well maintained, the infrastructure is carefully planned, and public transport runs reliably. But most importantly, there is a strong sense of safety. Late evening, an empty street, and you do not feel anxiety. However, this comfort comes at a high price. Life in Canada is among the most expensive in the world. Rent alone can become a major financial burden. Many people spend up to half of their income just on housing. This is a reality that is rarely mentioned in promotional videos.
Many people come to Canada hoping for a new life, and indeed, opportunities do exist here, but the path to them is not always easy. One of the main challenges is recognition of qualifications. A person with a higher education degree may find that their credentials are not accepted, and then a new journey begins. Working outside their profession, taking new exams, starting education from scratch. This process can take years, and it is often this period that becomes the most difficult for many immigrants. But those who persist gain stability, a decent income, and confidence in the future.
When people talk about Canada, high salaries are often mentioned, and that is true. But what is almost always left out is the second part of the story: expenses. At first glance, the numbers look impressive. The average income is enough to cover basic needs and even save some money. But after a few months of living there, a different reality becomes clear. Money works differently here. The biggest expense is housing. In major cities, rent can take up 40 to 60% of a person's income. And this is not luxury housing. It is an ordinary apartment. No extras, no panoramic views, just a basic level of comfort. Buying a home is an entirely different story. Property prices have risen so much that for many people, home ownership becomes a long-term goal spanning decades. A mortgage is not just a financial decision, it becomes a way of life. The next major factor is taxes. Canada has a well-developed social system, which means a significant portion of income goes to the government. Federal and provincial taxes combined can take a noticeable share of a salary. Only after that does the remaining money become available for daily life. Food is high quality, but not cheap. This becomes especially noticeable when compared to Eastern Europe. Transportation is convenient, but also comes with costs. Communication, internet, insurance, everything adds up into a system of expenses where every detail matters. That is why in Canada, it is not just about earning money,
It is about knowing how to manage it. Financial literacy is not an advantage here. It is a necessity. Those who understand this feel confident. Those who ignore it often face a constant sense of shortage.
The healthcare system is one of the most widely discussed topics in Canada. On one hand, it is a source of national pride. On the other, it is a constant subject of debate. Yes, basic medical care is free. This means a person can receive treatment without worrying about the bill. But behind this lies another reality: waiting times. Seeing a family doctor is relatively easy, but seeing a specialist is much more difficult. Sometimes the wait can last weeks, in some cases even months. This is especially surprising for those who are used to faster access to medical services. The system operates on a priority basis. Emergency cases are treated immediately. Life-saving surgeries are performed quickly. But when it comes to routine examinations, waiting is often unavoidable. And here we see an interesting paradox. Healthcare is available to everyone, but the speed of access depends on the situation. Some Canadians choose private services or even travel abroad for faster treatment. However, despite all its shortcomings, the system provides one essential thing: security. People know that in a critical situation, they will be helped, and that creates a sense of protection.
In Canada, education is seen not as an obligation, but as the foundation of the future. From an early age, children enter a system where not only knowledge matters, but also personal development. Schools here are practice-oriented. Students are taught to think, analyze, and ask questions. Teachers do not impose authority, they guide. The atmosphere in schools is more relaxed than in many countries, yet the level of education remains high. After school, the next stage begins: the choice of a path. Colleges and universities offer a wide range of programs, from technical specialties to creative fields. But behind this choice lies the financial reality. Higher education in Canada is not free, and often it is quite expensive. For domestic students, there are support programs, loans, and grants. For international students, the cost is significantly higher. But despite the price, many see it as an investment. A Canadian degree opens doors. It is valued by employers and recognized in different countries. In addition, education is often connected with practical experience. Students gain real-world skills even before graduation, and this makes the transition into professional life much smoother.
If there is one thing that unites all Canadians, it is their relationship with nature. Here, nature is not just a background, it is a part of life. Vast forests, clean lakes, mountain ranges, none of it feels distant. It is right there. Sometimes it is enough to leave the city limits and you are already in a different world. A world of silence, a world of space, a world where a person feels different. Canadians actively make use of this advantage. Hiking, camping, fishing, winter sports, all of this is part of everyday life. Even in large cities, a balance between urban life and nature is preserved. Parks, green spaces, waterfronts, everything is designed to give people a place to rest. And this shapes the lifestyle. People are less rushed. They spend more time outside, and they more often choose active recreation. Here, nature is not a luxury. It is the norm. The climate in Canada is not just a feature. It is a factor that shapes character. Winters here are long, in some regions extremely cold. Temperatures can drop to extreme levels. Snow is not a rare event, but a constant part of the landscape. But the most interesting part is not that. It is how the country adapts. Roads are cleared quickly. Transport keeps running. Life does not stop. People adjust. Clothing becomes part of a survival strategy. Planning becomes a necessity. Even architecture takes the climate into account. Houses are built to retain heat. Interior spaces are carefully designed down to the smallest details. But there is also a psychological side. Long winters affect mood. Short daylight hours, cold weather, limited time outdoors.
All of this requires adaptation. And this is where a person's inner strength becomes visible. Some see it as a challenge. Others see it as a unique atmosphere.
Canada is a country where different worlds meet. There is no single unified culture in the traditional sense. It is a combination of traditions, languages, and perspectives. Immigration plays a key role. People arrive here from all continents and bring a piece of their own world with them. This is reflected in everything, in cuisine, in holidays, in everyday life. Canadians are known for their politeness. The word sorry is heard here more often than anywhere else. But behind this politeness lies a certain distance. People respect personal space. They do not rush to open up. They do not intrude into other people's lives. Friendships here are built slowly, but when they do form, they tend to be strong and lasting. It is a culture of respect for boundaries, for differences, for other people's choices.
Any country is a balance. Canada is no exception. On one side, there is a high standard of living, cleanliness, safety, stability. Canada is a country without extremes. There are no sharp contrasts, no constant sense of pressure. But there is also no effortless ease that is sometimes imagined in dreams. This is a place where everything is built step by step, where results come with time, where success is not a coincidence, but a process. Canada does not promise quick victories, but it does offer a chance for a stable life. And for many people, that becomes the most important thing, a system that works. On the other side, there are challenges, high costs, long adaptation, climate. For some, the advantages outweigh everything else. For others, the disadvantages become decisive. And that is exactly why Canada is not for everyone. It requires readiness to change, to wait, and to move forward gradually.